What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 things that I hate about my 2024 Tesla Model 3. Now, since I have a rear-wheel drive model, I'm going to try in this video not to talk about things that would be solved by simply going up to the long range or the performance trim. So I'm not going to focus on things like, I wish it had a better sound system, I wish it was a little faster, I wish it had better charging speeds, because all of that is easily rectified just by jumping up a single trim. So for number 1, I've talked about this in previous videos, but it is this rear view mirror right here. This thing is tiny. It is a nice slim design. It is auto dimming, so it has some nice functionality, but it's just not the most practical for actually seeing out the back, especially because of the way that the Model 3 is designed. It has a really harsh slope in the back, so you really only see about that much. And, it's probably just a fault of the design. And I will say that it is noticeably better than the visibility out the back of the Model Y. I talked about that in my comparison video, which I'll have linked above. I wish they would do one of two things. Either make this rearview mirror larger and therefore easier to see out of, or get rid of it altogether. Go the complete opposite route, just nix it, delete it. You can leave the little area up there for the cabin camera, but just get rid of this altogether and have the rearview mirror just be simply pushing the camera button and looking out the back, or doing like the Cybertruck does where it puts the rearview mirror camera on screen. All right, for number 2, let's talk about these seats. This is something that's not going to change just by going up to the long range. You can go up to the performance trim, which will give you different seats and more, high performance seats. I haven't driven one, so I can't really speak to the comfort level of those, but I'm sure they're more bolstered than these seats. But simply going up to the long range is not going to fix this problem, and that is just that the seats aren't as comfortable as the previous generation seats. Now, I've driven previous generations of not only the Model 3, but also the Model Y, and I can say from my limited experience, I didn't daily them, but from the limited experience I have with them, I found those seats more plush. That doesn't mean they're more supportive necessarily, but they just seem a little bit cushier and a little bit more comfortable upon first sitting down on them. I don't know if mine are going to get better over time, because most of the cars I've driven had, 50, 60, 70,000 miles on them. My car only has 3,400 miles on it. So I'm completely admitting that this could change and they could get more comfortable. And I also want to say that they are not by any means uncomfortable. They're just not as comfortable as the previous generation seats, in my opinion. But compared to most other vehicles out there, including the vehicles that I've owned in the past, these are far and away the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. Plus, they have lumbar support, they're heated and ventilated. I think if I had to describe these seats, they're just a little bit firmer. The previous ones were kind of like a big puffy recliner, whereas these are more like a supportive seat. They have nice bolstering on the side, and it is plush to some degree, but they're just not like squishy. And some people, again, may prefer being more locked into their seat. I just think, for my taste, I would have preferred the last gen seats. Maybe that'll change, we'll see. Now, I love the fact that every single function on this vehicle can be controlled on this touchscreen. I think it's super fluid. It's the best system I've ever used in any vehicle, period. I don't think it's particularly close. And I'm very familiar with where everything is and how to use it quickly and effectively. And that includes this complaint. And it's just the climate control. I know where it is, I know how to quickly access it, it's just a few button clicks to turn it on and off, but in my opinion, it's a little too finicky to use while driving. And I've complained about this in the past. This is not a new view, and I'm sure a lot of other people share this opinion, but I find that I'm only really able to toggle it on and off and adjust the temperature without looking. If I want to do anything else, like adjust the fan placement or turn the fan up and down, like the speed, all of that I have to take my eyes off the road to do, which is not the best. Now, what you can do is buy some of these sexy buttons. I've reviewed them up here, and you can map climate control options to these, and you can stick them, places where you can reach without, taking your hands off the wheel even, but, down here to where you don't have to touch the screen, and have them do custom functions. So all that really can be solved with some third-party accessories, but straight from the factory, I just find it a little bit too specific to use without looking at the screen and without taking your hands, or at least a hand, off the wheel and being distracted by looking at the screen. Now, of course, you can use voice commands, and I find that the voice commands work really well. So that's what I honestly end up doing most of the time. But for more precise things like adjust the vents up and down and things like that. I just wish there was maybe a little bit of a better way to do it. One of the ideas I had is, you know, I know you can customize the left wheel to do different things. So if you could somehow, you know, hold down the left wheel and then scroll it up or down to adjust your vent position up and down, I think that would be really cool and maybe something they could implement. Now, number 4 is something I've really only noticed on the new Model 3. I'm sure the new Model Y, whenever that comes out, will have this same problem, but it's that you don't actually have like a true horn. It comes out of a speaker that's in the front right, and it's pretty quiet. So, you know, if I were to push the horn, and I just feel like in some situations where it could be super loud with like a lot of traffic going on, that maybe my horn would be hard to hear. Now, I can't really tell you for certain that it is because I haven't been on the other side of it, but from my perspective, it just sounds really quiet on the inside, and really it kind of sounds quiet on the outside too. You can even hear it when you lock the car and like the little beeping sound it makes. Now, maybe it's not using the full volume for that. I don't know, but it just seems like it's a little weak in my opinion. And then 5th and finally, I really wish that the frunk was powered. I know you can do it aftermarket, and maybe down the line I'll do that, but it just seems so out of place that everything can be controlled with your phone, lock, unlock, open the charge port, close the charge port, open the trunk, close the trunk, all that kind of stuff. But with the frunk, all you really can do is open it, because then it just pops open and then you have to lift it up and then you have to pull it down shut and push it into place. It just feels like the one area that they really cheaped out on. And it's not just the Model 3, right? You have this on the Y, you have this on everything except the Cybertruck. And I'm hoping that maybe down the line they bring a powered frunk, at least as an option, or something that you can add on after the fact officially from Tesla, because that would make using the app and using the frunk just that much better, because I really use the frunk a lot. Those are the 5 things that I hate about my Tesla Model 3, but I never just give 5. I always give a bonus one, and my bonus one is pretty nitpicky, but it's just something that I wish was an option at least, and that is this liner. I wish that when you got the black interior car that you could get a black liner. I think it would just match the car a little bit better, and you wouldn't have so much of this kind of 2-tone or even 3-tone if you want to consider the textile fabric as another tone. You wouldn't have as many colors going on. I really wish that you could just get an all black liner as an option, all black visors, all that kind of stuff. Just a little nitpicky thing. Again, I know you can do all of this aftermarket, but it would just be nice if you could order a black liner option from Tesla, or at least if they would just switch it to where black interiors had a black liner, white interiors had a light interior. But one of my favorite things about Teslas is the massive third-party marketplace that exists. I already talked about the sexy buttons, all of the different little gizmos and gadgets that you can get for your Tesla. Some of them I've talked about in this accessory video that I made a few weeks ago. There's so much customization that you can do to these cars to help fix some of the complaints that I have, and maybe I'll dive into some of those if you guys are interested. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Let me know down in the comments, what are some things that you don't like about your Tesla? Let's talk about it down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.